Unresolved grief is an emotional ride in which needs to be unlocked, and having the unlocking of the grief and loss will enable children to begin to talk about their issues and to address those issues, and as well as hopefully enable them to blossom and become strong Koori kids.
Unresolved grief and loss can have a tremendous impact on a child because, number one, if it's in the parent, then the parent may well have psychological scars on their soul which would affect their nurturing of the child.
Trauma, grief and loss affects our Aboriginal children now, and I think if we don't address it now, unfortunately we're going to see, you know, a lot more of them future adults actually themselves being caught up in so many difficult situations and having to face problems where, you know, they are going to continue the trend that we're seeing, and actually, you know, a lot of our mob dying much younger than the general population. And I think as soon as we can change even the way we talk about, you know, the fact that children are our future, our demographics show that, you know, children and young people make up the majority of our population. There needs to be a shift in the way we do programs and the way I think those people who are providing the resources do programs, and a shift in their thinking, but also a shift in their efforts in terms of needing to do things differently.
I'll give a personal example. My mother, God rest her soul, she was brought up to work very, very hard. So as children, we were brought up to work very, very hard. And in some cases, there was a lack of joy. The concentration was on clan law, living by clan law, working hard, make sure you do the right thing. And so you were concentrating on that all the time. So there was a lack of, there was contentment in my very deep understanding and sense of who I am and my clan's role. But the joy, you were so busy, you know, really doing all the right thing. You can have contentment, but where's the joy? And I think sometimes I still go through that.
I very much want our children to have a different future. And while I know very much about grief and loss, I want to put that to one side, I guess, and say that I don't think our kids or our communities can have a different future unless there's major change in the way this society positions Aboriginal people, allows Aboriginal people to participate, recognises the validity that this is an Aboriginal country and that it is an Aboriginal nation. That doesn't mean that there should be no white people here, but I really think that some of it is unresolved from that point of view. And while we're marginalised, while we're kept out of the power scheme, while we're absent from the nation's consciousness of itself, we're not going to be able to offer that kids that different view of the future that they should have.
They need coping strategies. And whereas in the 70s and since then we've been concentrating on cultural awareness courses for teachers and administrators, I've always maintained, no, you give coping strategies to the children, which is what my mother did to me when I was 4 years old when I was sent to school. She said, this is white man's business, you only talk about that at school. This is black people's business, you don't talk anything about this, and if, you know, in this situation, etc., etc., etc. So right from an early age, I was given those coping strategies, and that's what we need to give to our children.